Welcome to the Lay Under Bet Sports Betting Live Show, co-hosted by our guy Matt Modai. How you doing today, sir?
Terrible. I'm doing really, really bad. Things are just going awful. No, I'm just kidding. Things are good, man. Things are good.
Look, man, we appreciate honesty on this show, and if things are a little rough for some people, they should talk about it. But it's definitely not your freaking betting picks, right? Those are going well right now in the NBA, I believe.
They're okay. It's very hit or miss. I mean, definitely better like from the beginning of the year. I'd like up like 20 units on the year, which is not amazing, but it's a solid enough built up profit. It's been really hit or miss. Like Monday, literally 0 for 6. Tuesday, 4-0. Yesterday, like mostly broke even. So
Yep. Yeah, I mean, when you can mitigate damage and when you can mitigate damage, right, on the weird nights, like tonight's a weird night. I don't feel this like strong pull to have 15 bets down on my card. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. So as much as I want you to jump into a betting show and just have bets flying at your face that you can't handle the amount of volume that we're playing, like I'm also going to have to say, like, you don't have to bet every game. And you don't have to bet every bet that you feel like playing, but we're going to try to find as much as we can. I have one bet on the card. How many do you have down, by the way?
4. I got 4.
Cool. All right. So let's go through some of that stuff. We'll interrupt ourselves with some looks here from the comments as well as everybody's jumping in. So appreciate you guys being in here. We're letting a few more people kind of crawl in. Quick reminder to go ahead and give the video a like as you guys are scrolling through things. We've got bets down on the bottom line there. That's scrolling along as well. I believe we've got your bets down there as well as live show producer David did his research there to get those bets.
He sure did.
When you're a public figure like yourself, it's not that hard to find your betting card.
Yeah, they're not hard to find. Yeah, the picks are not hard to find.
Right. So, all right, cool. And by the way, 20 units up on a season before the All-Star break is beyond nothing to sneeze at. It's actually very, very good. We all need to start remembering that, like, made money is good money, and if not losing money is also very good. So, like, let's have our expectations in a realistic place. Like, we're not trying to win 75% of the time. We're trying to win as close to 60 as we can, and we will accept slightly less than that, right?
100%. I think like, need to just forget that last year happened. Because at this point last year, I was up like 55 units, basically 55. Yeah, like 55. So it was like, I mean, sometimes things just don't go your way, which is kind of like the nature. Like yesterday, 2 hooks lost on 2 hooks, and last year I can't remember having that many that were so close but didn't hit. But anyways, yeah, I mean, you're right. 20 units
card as well.
Exactly, and like normally you get hooked like once a week. You're like, oh, that sucks. Like having it twice in a night, you're like, come on, you couldn't get any of that.
And there's some weirdness with obviously blowouts, injuries, all that. So we are staying up to date on the injury report because things are coming in. That's a big reason why we do this show at this time as well, is like things are coming in. We're going to be using Props Madness, just to be clear as well. So if anybody does want to get in on Props Madness or has any questions about this, you can get a 7-day free trial. Use code LYB when you sign up. And you can also get 25% off your first month if you're trying to get this platform here. Like I said, throw any questions in the comments. Happy to answer anything about Props Madness or any of the tools that you'll see us using here, but mostly Props Madness. Can I ask you to kick it off here with your first look? And I'll be crawling through the comments to see what we''t got in there too.
Yeah, sure. We could just go in order of the games. First game there on the list, Lakers Wizards. I took Jackson Hayes. I took him on the boards, A+. I got it at plus 120, and then it actually went up to plus 130 on FanDuel. And now I think it's kind of normalized around like even money. Like I think last I checked, I think you could still get a plus price on FanDuel. Let me check that. Give me 1 second.
No, I can pull it up too.
Oh yeah, if you can. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where like you're going off of a tiny sample size. He's only played 3 games without Anthony Davis. 2 of those 3 games he played 30 plus minutes, and 2 of those games he got 8 or more rebounds. So, did they take him off completely?
I think they took it down because LeBron was a recent injury tag update to questionable.
Wasn't he always questionable?
Was he always? I thought he might have been probable, and then but maybe I'm messing that up. Maybe he's always been questionable then. I'm not sure why they would take him down there.
Jackson Hayes, I'm showing.
Oh, Dorian Finney-Smith was just ruled out. So was Gabe Vincent.
Okay, the best price is plus 110 on Fliff.
Okay.
Maybe FanDuel will update their front end, but on the back end, they have it at minus 105. But anyways, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, it's a tiny sample size, but like you see, he's only gone over in 3 games this year. Well, if you look at without Anthony Davis, you'll see 2 of those 3 games. And you also look at 2 of the 3 games in which like his minutes were like all the way up. It was also happened to be 2 of the 3 games without Anthony Davis. And it's like, yeah, I mean, 2 games he played 30 minutes, 1 game he didn't. I don't know what they're going to do with their rotation. 2/3 of the time he's played 30 minutes, and then 1/3 of the time he's played 18.
I think he got some fouls here, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it was foul trouble as well.
Yep.
And this Wizards team, I mean, it's like if you need a backup center to just eat up minutes, if this game turns into a blowout, whatever. I mean, Wizards are the perfect matchup for it. Obviously, he's going to get big boyed a little bit by Joval, but Joval's not going to draw him into foul trouble. He just might get a couple offensive boards over him. But like you look at the Wizards, it's green everywhere. It's rebounds allowed, defensive rating, points in the paint allowed. Obviously, we're taking rebounds, so like the point stuff doesn't really matter.
Sure.
But they give up the second most rebounds to centers, according to multiple sources. Like you go to Fantasy Pros, second most. You go to #NBA, it's second most. They're a dream matchup for centers. They have been all year.
Yeah.
You could go double, which is like, if you really want to get crazy, I think it was like +2 something.
There was a +450 on Bet365 at one point. I don't know if that's gone down.
I don't think that's available anymore. It's no, wow, still +475 at Bet365. Like I didn't actually bet that. That's probably worth a quarter unit.
Yeah.
Because again, like against the Wizards, all things are possible. That's kind of my thought process.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones where like you bet on the backup center and he plays 15 minutes. You're like, that was the dumbest play in the world, or he's going to grab 15 boards. And you're like, of course he did, because it's the Wizards. You know what I mean? It's like, you can see both realities. +120, I was comfortable with. I would still play it at +110 for those of you that use Fliff.
Yeah, if you can get it on Fliff, that's the best number you're seeing. I mean, look, if you want to drink some juice and take over 6.5, I think the DFS potential, like Dorian Finney-Smith being ruled out, potentially playing center, was the thing that really controlled that. The only reason that I was looking at it, I went straight to it. I made sure I wasn't like looking at Twitter and whatever else, because I didn't really want I didn't want to know if everybody else was betting on Jackson Hayes, and come to find out it's obviously like a pretty popular play in some ways, but like there's no reason not to. So the only reason I wouldn't be taking it is some weird hipster, I didn't get to it first thing. And I don't really need that in my, I just want to win bets. So I'm still close to it. I also just am so on edge about today in general. And just this game, like, I don't even think it's going to be a blowout, to be honest. Like, I don't think it's going to be as bad as we think, unless the Wizards look like they did against the Raptors. I haven't seen a worse performance of basketball, to be honest, than that game. So I didn't have anything on this one yet. Before we do move on, I'm happy to go in order. I kind of want to see if anybody has some stuff. This was at least an idea, is Kuzma being petty against the Lakers. I don't know that I would trust Kyle Kuzma or this lineup much, if we're being honest.
Kuzma's been so bad this year.
So fucking bad.
He's been terrible. I mean, this is like by far the worst year he's had in Washington.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the minutes have been there, and that's the other scary part. Is like, I can't even just be like, well, he wasn't playing and now he is playing, so he'll do well. He hasn't played this team. They did play this year. Yeah, he played 28 minutes. They lost by 23. I think how bad Washington is at basketball has overcome however much Kyle Kuzma might want to score against his old team. So I'm good on anything with that, to be honest. I was looking at Mr. Reeves. Did you have a look on him at all? Because I had some thoughts, but
to me it would be the assist. I like his assists a lot. I mean, granted, no AD kind of hurts that a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously, like you lose a rim runner, but I mean, AD missed most of that game against the Sixers. He got 8 assists. I think he had 14 potential assists in that game. Yeah. And I mean, he's been awesome from a Dimes perspective without D'Lo, since they traded D'Lo.
Sure. Yeah.
And even like, you know, Jackson Hayes, obviously he's not Anthony Davis, but he can rim run, he can catch a lob and yam it. That's like basically all he can do. Sure. So it would be the assist if I was going to play AR-15, but I mean, I didn't want multiple bets in this game, so I didn't go that way.
Yeah. And the reason I ended up staying away from it, I dove into basically what happens when he plays on the floor in general. And I was showing people that the other day. I'm just going to show you guys what kept me away from it eventually. Like the points would be actually the way that I would be going, only because I do think he's going to keep shooting more without AD. So that kind of seems to be something. Now, AD's only missed 3 games, so there's not much of a sample size there. This is the on-court, off-court stuff that I've shown people before, which I go to in these times where I'm like, all right, well, there's so many weird constructions of this LA lineup this season without D'Lo or with Connect or with Rui or not or whatever, that I was just like, let me just take out AD and just look at the minutes, and I guess I'll take out D'Lo, but just looking at them, and now I got to take out DFS, excuse me. Looking at the minutes that we've got here for Austin Reeves, I would just put him on court then with LeBron, and I guess I put Jackson Hayes earlier as well. So this is what I was looking at earlier. And like any way that I started putting guys on off court. So this is 102 minutes. This is him at 21 points and like 6 dimes per 36 minutes. He's taking, about 15 and a half shots. So I don't really, I think this is probably undervaluing how many shots he's going to take when he's playing without AD, but just on the season as a whole, whether or not AD was in the game or, available or just on the bench, essentially, like it's still just not there for me. So I trusted this enough at like 102 minutes of this that it kind of just kept me from feeling like I had much of an edge on Austin on either way. But that's a really long-winded way of me telling you I'm not probably putting anything else on that game, to be honest with you. So, all right, let's go down. Did you have one for Hawks Cavs as we move along here?
Yeah, I actually had 2 in this one. First one, it was Darius Garland. A little bit narrative based, so I'll save that one for the end. But
okay.
It's a good matchup. I liked Jalen Green in this exact matchup because he runs a ton of pick and rolls and he shoots a ton from the above the break. And Jalen Green hit the 25 pumped up number, and that's exactly what I did for Darius Garland. I got his pumped up. I should have looked that up before. I got him at plus 180 at BetMGM for 25 plus.
Okay.
And then if for those of you that obviously BetMGM is a heavy limiter, 25 plus right now is plus 145 also at Fliff. So Fliff coming through with the best odds, plus 140 at FanDuel. I would still take it there. I'm still good with that. It's a good matchup. Like you hover over the matchup against the Hawks. You see that they give up the 4th most points per game to the pick and roll ball handler. They give up the most points per game to the above the break 3-pointer. And the majority of that is pull up. They're worse in terms of pull ups than they are in terms of catch and shoot. I also like the fact that they play at the second fastest pace. So their games just turn into a track meet. Yeah. And then if you look at Garland in terms of his shot zone, he's either shooting an above the break 3-pointer or he's shooting it at the rim. That's a Kenny Atkinson special. 40% of his buckets come from the above the break, 40% come in the paint. And the Hawks give up the 8th most points in the paint in the NBA. I think they're 23rd, so 8th most. 2 games against them this year. Once went under, once went over. Those were back-to-back games. You see like November 27th, November 29th. So like hard to really put too much into perspective there. I like the fact that he took 14 shots in the first one, 2 of 7 from deep, just didn't shoot well. Hopefully we get like closer to 15, 16 shots tonight. And then the narrative piece, and like this is hard to put value on, but he didn't play last night and the rest of the team did. So like, is he going to have fresh legs? Is he going to play more? Is he going to shoot more? Donnie Mitchell went off yesterday, 30 plus points against the Heat. Even though the Heat, they kind of waxed them, the Heat are still like a tough team to play, and you get your bruises after playing against the Heat. And I looked at it like if he just takes 16 shot attempts, which I think is reasonable for him, his hit rate, I forget the exact numbers, but his hit rate was pretty good with 16 shots. 17 of 23 getting, that's over 22 and a half.
So I just was taking a ceiling. I mean, I guess he could still shoot 22 times if we're being honest. I mean, it's the Hawks. There's going to be a lot of possessions. There's no reason to cap his ceiling too low. So yeah, if it's at least 16 shots, it's pretty nice hit rate there. Yeah,
averaging 25 points per game. And then I think only twice he landed between 3 times actually. So that would be 14 of 23 if we're looking at 25.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the first one I had. I went for this game. Did you have anything else in this game?
So I didn't get anywhere yet with this game. I hate betting on the Cavs. I'll tell you that right now. The considerations that I had, I was considering some of the others on Atlanta, such as like a Ricochet, who guys that I can bank on getting minutes. Was considering Dyson Daniels on like PA. He's not trustworthy on the points. If we're being honest, it's so random. The assists are still good. I believe they're at 4.5 though. Or you can take minus 140 for him to get 4. So this actually got put down a little bit. There was nothing that like gave me an edge either way. It would be assists for Dyson Daniels and considering like points and rebounds for Ricochet. Those are the two. Really, just to go on about it, it's like they're not very good at rebounding outside of like Jalen Johnson when he was on the floor with Onyeka Okongwu was good for 10 boards every 20 minutes he's on the floor with that dude. Okongwu very overrated, honestly. Rebounder, pretty undersized. So if trying to find another athlete to come in, Ricochet is basically playing power forward in the starting lineup because you've got Vic Krejci playing shooting guard. So I like that you get a little bit of value on his rebounds added to a pretty low point total. If you look at him without Jalen Johnson, this is Ricochet so without Jalen Johnson, the points are nice. The boards are a little bit better as well, slightly uptick. So the points and rebounds, pretty nice hit rate there, 6 out of 8. right? This is the stuff that I'm considering right now, but it's like, man, I feel like I'm reaching on this slate, to be honest, with the stuff I'm throwing Ricochet and potentially Dyson Daniels assist. That's kind of what I got. But any thoughts on any of that, or just jump into your second pick if you're like, I don't even know what you want me to do with that, man.
Well, you mentioned the guy. It seems like you don't like it. I took a Kongwu on the double. Mostly, I just like the price. I mean, it was plus 165 when I bet it. I thought that was a really good price. He right now is plus 135. So this was a good CLV day. That's not always the case. Plus 135 now at 365 in FanDuel. I mean, my thing is, who else is going to rebound? Like, who else is going to grab 10 boards? Like Jalen Johnson, Clint Capella. I mean, Clint Capella, like this year wasn't nearly as good a rebounder. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm saying without those two, even though Clint Capella wasn't as good as he was before, that's still your center and your pound for pound, your probably best rebounder. That's out. And I've loved the Cavs matchup from a rebounding perspective for centers. Now he's like a tweener. He's not a true center. He's listed technically as a power forward. And if you look at technically that hit rate is awesome for him. Yeah. That's power forwards. Right. But I liked Gershon. Are you looking at points or rebounds right now?
I've been looking at points. Sorry. Here's boards.
I mean, we'll get to points next.
They're both good. Yeah. I mean, they're both relevant to the bet, but yeah, rebounds for now.
Yeah. I liked Gershon in this matchup because even though he is a little bit undersized, he had 13 rebounds over under 7.5. He's going to be by the basket. Jared Allen is not stretching you out. He's going to keep him under the basket. And I've loved center rebound props against the Cavs. The points is what scared me a little bit more because the matchup is tough. I mean, the Cavs don't give up anything in the paint. They don't give up anything in the restricted area.
Not as good versus center points, though, as I thought they might. I mean, it's still like roughly top 10, but I thought they'd have a better sort of ranking just against center points in general.
Closer to 1, yeah. But I looked at it. A, he's hit it both games against the Cavs, 2 for 2, 10 points, 15 points. And B, if you just look at top matchups in which he's playing teams that are top 10, and like any stat you want to look at, top 10 against his play type, top 10 against points in the paint, like any of those, his hit rate's fine. It's not like he really struggles in top 10 hit rates. And to be clear, I only need him to score 10 points. So you see twice in that stretch, he had 11. He had 11 and 10. And his over under was like 12.5 with the over juiced. So would I bet his over points? No. Do I think he can get double digit? Probably. He's just going to run a bunch of pick and rolls with Trae Young. He's going to throw him up lobs. Obviously Nance is in there too. But Okongwu's really come on. The last thing I mentioned, and then I'll shut up. If you go to his minutes and you take out the filter, and you just click his minutes, you see it's just like slowly starting to come up in the basically since January 14th. Like it was normally he was like 20 to 25. Now he's like 28 to 30. And that's not only correlated with Clint Capella out. There were still matchups where Clint Capella was in, where his minutes were still rising. He's just more dynamic.
Well, this was just to interrupt you. This is where he got inserted into the starting lineup. So the first game he played 28, and then everything else that looks about at least 27 since then. Like you said, like at least 3 to 4 or 5 minutes more than he's been playing. He's in the starting lineup, and so Clint's been around. He's just been a backup. Yeah, exactly.
So he's way more dynamic. I think he's actually got some skills. He's just better than Clint Capella, who's I feel like really showing his age this year. And again, the price was the biggest thing. Like I wouldn't have betted at even money, but plus 165, and I'd still take it at plus 135.
Nice. Yeah. No, I mean, he's got to hit at some point. I was big on him, and I'm really anti him right now because I tried to bet on him against the Wolves in a perfect matchup, and he just shat the bed and threw up all over himself. Yeah, so I'm just mad at him for that. Bad matchup for sure, but I also thought he was going to get involved in the offense with the assists. So that's also what I'm a little bit more upset with him about. And then was just happy to not take him against the Rockets in that game where he just didn't really put up shots. Obviously, that was closer than we thought it was going to be. But either way, I've no real qualms with Onyeka. Like I thought about him again today, and the price for a double-double at the very least, I think it is worth it to the point you're making. So fine with that. I am starting to talk myself a little bit into this stuff right here. Who's that, David, that you're showing us?
That's Okongwu.
In his recent numbers.
Yeah, that's helpful stuff. I mean, that's better than even that summed up my point better than even I made it.
No, I think that adds up. All right. Yeah, I don't know if I really want to get involved. Man, I think I gave you my 2 strong leans for right now. I'm going to have to walk away from this once we can keep it moving for a minute. I do want to see if there's a couple people talking about Trae Young, double-double, if you can get a good one there. Nelly, no, I don't hate it. Garland on the turnovers is interesting. If he is guarded, I don't know that he's going to get the Dyson Daniels treatment. I think that's going to go to Donnie Mitchell. So I think he'll have probably an easier matchup in that sense. Probably some Trey. I know he's going to be guarding Trey. Maybe some Trey. Maybe you get Vic Krejci. There's nobody that's a good matchup for Garland. So I'm liking him to do well more and more as Matt kind of brought that up a minute ago. Let me see if we got any looks I didn't consider there, but no, yeah, I'm with you on Ricochet, the juice. So if that's something that you guys are considering, I'm gonna have to look at that one a little bit more closely, but I do want to keep it moving because we got a couple other things. Quick question, and maybe you can answer this. Have you used Fliff much?
Yeah, I do use Fliff. Yeah. I've never had any
it?
issues. I never had any issues. I put money in, I've gotten money out. I've never been limited on Fliff. I don't have anything negative to say about them. I'm not a Fliff sponsor.
Right.
I just, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not getting paid by them. I just, but yeah, I've had no issues with them. I recommend anybody that can use Fliff should use it because the more books, the better.
Yep. 100%. Yeah. And I have only heard the same. So I have no qualms with them either. They have a pretty fine reputation at this point, to be honest.
Yeah.
Mobley on a double. Actually, I that caught my attention because who is playing power forward for the Hawks? Like it's going to be Ricochet
probably, yeah.
of DeAndre Hunter coming in, and that's who's guarding Evan Mobley again. Now I'm starting to think a little bit more about that one. I think that makes a ton of sense. If you're getting better juice for the double than the 9.5 boards, I think that is the look. If his boards are at 9.5 and double is a legit play. So DraftKings -130. Let me just
double. Sorry to interrupt you. It's -105.
Yeah, -105.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good number. I like that. David, would you mind putting some leans on the card for me so I don't forget this, which I will inevitably do?
Yeah, what do you got?
Yeah, let's throw Mobley double -105. Which book is that the best price?
FanDuel.
FanDuel's got that the best price. -105 for Mobley double on FanDuel. And then the other one when you're putting it up is the Zachary Ricochet over PR, which is 13.5. And it's plus money, man. Or you can take 12.5. I like that discrepancy. Yeah.
It's not bad.
It isn't. And yeah, I mean, his matchup is I hope it's not Evan Mobley, to be honest. I would have to look at that a little bit more closely. Mobley's the better look there. But we'll put Ricochet points and rebounds on the leans as well. And then just so I don't forget, the Dyson Daniels assist would be awesome. Still really low. I might even be willing to drink the juice or just take it at 4.5 for really good money. I mean, without Jalen Johnson, let me just do this one more time for him. I mean, could put Bogey in there too.
Bogey's out, right? That's what you mean?
What's that?
Bogey's out, right? That's what you mean?
So I could take Bogey off too if I wanted to, but it's not really make much of a difference. But yeah, he's going to have the ball in his hands, right? I mean, Keaton Wallace might be out there to eat into it, but it's worked lately. So that's the other one. It's just Dyson Daniels' assist. Going to come back to that. That's going to be the second best game, I would say, of the night, to be honest. Hopefully the Cavs don't just wipe the floor with them. But all right, quick reminder as we're moving to this next game, give that video a like if you have not yet. If you're not yet subscribed to this page, highly recommend. Go ahead and do that. You want to turn the notifications on for the live. If you're not subscribed to Jedi Modai's page, would also recommend doing that. I think we're gonna have an NFL show before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta have a Super Bowl show. Yeah, all right,
yeah.
Cool. We'll get back to you on that. But yeah, we were doing NFL every Sunday, all season. But all right, let's get to this next one where we're talking about these Jazz and the Timberwolves. Did you have one in this game?
No, I mean, Jazz on the second half of back-to-back, or was it last night or 2 nights ago when they benched everybody?
It was.
I guess it was 2 nights ago against. I mean, regardless, their whole team missed. Like if you like, the players for the Jazz.
Yeah, here we go. My bad, I fucked up. It was.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, like, and they'll miss with like just no reason. Like Walker Kessler will miss with injury management when he hasn't been out. Right. So Jazz are like kind of a do not bet list when the whole team's healthy because it's so hard to have any data when the actual whole team plays together. True. I mean, Kessler's been awesome. John Collins has been pretty consistent with his PR. Yeah. But I prefer to look at the Jazz when guys are missing. And the Collins PR was like 23.5 earlier today. I know that because I looked at it, but
interesting.
But the matchup's not phenomenal. Yeah. And I mean, obviously I didn't know it was going to be bet down. I didn't bet it. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, and then the Timberwolves coming off of back-to-back and went off against the Suns last night. I think the Suns won that game, right? If I remember correctly.
No, the Wolves pulled it out, right? Yeah, they won by 8. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Right, yep. Never mind then. So yeah, I mean, this is a no touch.
Yeah, I can understand that. Here's a weird thing I'm going to tell you about me. I think my favorite basketball team in the league this year is the backups for the Utah Jazz. That's like my new
Yes.
favorite team.
But when they're missing guys,
Of course.
yeah.
So there's a couple of things we can look at. I think I trust John Collins, but I need to look into that one a little bit more. I just need to know if he like what he played last game against the Thunder. He played 26 minutes. Like if you look at his number now, granted, last game it was like 16 and a half PR for John Collins against the Thunder, which was a no-brainer. If
crazy
he played
line.
15 minutes, I was like, great. What are we doing here? Especially the rebounds. And PJ Washington, the tweeners that can shoot but are very good small ball fives, love taking those guys against the Thunder because you can't play them off the floor. But they're still better rebounders than most people out there. For this game, it's not a good matchup by any stretch of the imagination because you're going to have somewhat twin towers out there. You're going to have at least two very good bigs on the floor at all times for the Timberwolves. So he's not where I was looking. I really want to go back to Isaiah Collier, who I'm going to be naming my daughter's middle name probably will be Collier. And that is like a joke that I've been making that I'm probably actually going to try to convince my wife of. But the minus 125, it got down to 5.5 assists. I mean, I think he's starting. That's the only thing keeping me away from this is that Will Hardy's a lunatic and he's decided that he's mad at Keontae George. He said this publicly. And so Keontae George has been coming off the bench for Isaiah Collier. And that has meant at least like 28 minutes, even with everybody playing. So the Thunder was the game with everybody. And he did not start in that game. And then he started the last three. Now we haven't had everybody back. So I don't know if he's randomly going to put Keontae George back in, but I've just been watching this drop and I do plan on betting this, but I have no reason to just like hit it right away. Cause it was at like 6.5 for minus 110 and we're all the way down to minus 125 at 5.5. So I'm giving this a minute. The rebounds also, I don't mind adding those, even with everybody back. He's still got really good numbers. So if he's starting and playing 28 minutes at least, I'm going to Isaiah Collier with whatever it is. I might even add the points, to be honest. But I'm going to find multiples of ways to bet on him at 28 plus minutes because we're going to be getting a ton of value from him. I will have to get back to everybody on that, to be honest, because I need to like dive into or wait for the info, and I don't think we're going to get it on the show.
I guess that's the starting lineup thing makes sense because that's the biggest thing. Is like all those. I mean, the majority of the games where he's gone off, they've been missing somebody. And the one game where they weren't missing anybody, he didn't do anything. Granted, against like the best team in the league in the Thunder,
right?
That's what scares me off. Is like you see a lot of green, and the books are still hanging that number. And like obviously, books will have stale lines all the time. Sure. But in this case, I think it's just Russian roulette on what the minutes are going to look like, and with everybody healthy. It's like all the guards are there. Keontae George, I mean, granted, he might be in the doghouse. Even Clarkson's back, and he's been out. Clarkson's been out forever, right?
Right. He's definitely on like a 20-25 minute limit.
For sure.
So just as a fair warning for everybody seeing 11.5 being like, what? He averages 16. He's not playing more than 25. So there's that. The stuff with Collier that doesn't scare me. Again, this is like one of those reasons where helps me sift through the fact that the Jazz have had like 17 different starting lineups in the last 2 weeks alone, right? Mm-hmm. So this is where I'm like putting guys on the court that I feel like I can at least trust. And there was a decent amount of minutes. If I put John Collins, Lowry, and then Isaiah, my boy, Colin, and then who am I missing here? Not Keontae. Is that 5? 1, 2, 3.
That's 4. That's Kessler.
Oh, and Walker, obviously. That W down there. All right, so this is not going to work. Hold on. Let me take Collins out. Yeah, that's the thing. He didn't start last game, so it kind of messed me up. So you take Collins out. It's still pretty good. Like the thing is, these numbers are never going to get down below like 14 to 15 to 20 RA for this dude. So he's still going to, if he's the point guard out there with them, yes, Colin to score, maybe Lowry to score, but definitely Isaiah to get them the ball. That's kind of why I think he's the one that I can continue to bank on is if he's getting 28 minutes and he's on the floor with good players around him, the assists all day. I'm not going to get mad at him for not getting it against the best defense in the league that limits assists, top 5 for the Thunder, limiting dimes. I know that's what this is going to be for the Thunder.
I was going to say T-Wolves are probably top 5 too.
The other thing about the T-Wolves that I'm talking myself against, a point against Isaiah Collier or anybody, to be honest, on the Jazz is if we don't get where's my guy Mike Conley, he might not be playing. He's questionable. It's a back-to-back. He's aging. Nickeil Alexander-Walker might be like the starting guard alongside Ant in this game. And then we'd be getting some Rob Dillingham, in which case now I'm considering guards on the other side who might be playing more with some low props. if this turns into a blowout. The only other thing I would say is they're going to be trying. So like I know, and we'll move on from this game because I made clear what I'm looking at, and I haven't bet it yet, but I'm looking at it. Look at the games that Larry Markkinen has played. Very good team in the Bucks. All these teams are good, is my point. Bucks, Grizz, Thunder, Suns, Heat. Do what you want with the Hawks, but Heat, Knicks, Nuggets. Like in this stretch of games where he's missing random days, he's missing the games against the Portland Trailblazers or the Charlotte Hornets. And he's playing in the games where they know that they can try and lose, essentially, is what the Jazz are masters at this point. They've been doing it for years. So they're going to play their guys, I think, relatively normal minutes outside of maybe John Collins or whomever. But everybody else is going to get normal minutes. So just do with that what you will for the projections. All right. Moving on to the Rockets and Grizz, and we can move a little bit faster because I, once again, only have one bet on the card that I'll throw your guys' way in a minute. But anything that you want to kick us off with for Rockets Grizz?
Yeah, I went Amin Thompson. I got him on the points. I was able to get over 17.5 for plus money. I think I just happened to look when that line was available because it quickly went down.
Yeah.
Right now, 17.5 is. I mean, yeah, or sorry, 17.5 right now. It's plus 100 at ESPN Bet, so you can still get that. Okay. I got plus 102. Plus 100 is fine. Yeah. Sorry, I was looking at Şengün, who's a little bit higher, but anyways.
Yeah, and he's still questionable, but I think he probably plays, to be honest. But anyway,
Şengün. Yeah, I think he plays. Yeah. Anyways, I love the matchup for Amin Thompson. I mean, he's been awesome. Just as a pure basketball player, he's been awesome. He had that epic game against the Celtics. Only natural that he came down a little bit after that. Like if you look at his next game after the Celtics, he only played 31 minutes as opposed to the 40 that he had been playing. And he didn't take that many shots and he didn't shoot that well. It was just like, it just kind of was what it was after that epic performance again against the Celtics. If you look at games without Jabari Smith Jr., who's like, it's been a decent amount of time since Jabari Smith's been out. And he's been really good. I mean, 6 of 11 games isn't amazing. And it's kind of been like an every other thing, like 2 games on, 1 game off, 1 game on, 1 game off. Granted, those and one of those on was against the Grizzlies. But it's a perfect matchup for him. He runs the floor in transition. The Grizzlies also play at the fastest pace in the NBA, and they're the 4th worst transition defense in the NBA. And they don't guard the rim that well. 8th most points per game at the rim, which is where mostly Amin shoots. So he missed it the first time against the Grizz. Then he cashed it the next game. And then, like I said, I'm not going to fault him for having a rough game against the Hawks, even though that would theoretically be a good matchup because he just played 40 minutes against the Celtics and was awesome in that game. Yeah. And it was on the second half of back-to-back, and that was the game Jalen Green went off. And then, Amin Thompson, I took his points. I took over 17.5. I'd still take it at plus 100. And that was my 4th and final play for tonight.
Got you. Did you consider any of the other looks here for him, rebounds or assists?
Just the points.
Okay. Yeah. No, I've been playing PRA, but it's gotten out of hand. We were getting this at like 27.5. I got a little bit newbie on it. It was such a good matchup. I couldn't pass it. I would throw one other thing your way. I believe it's his birthday today.
I did. Yeah. Someone actually in the YouTube comments told me that. I didn't know that before, but yeah, it is his birthday. It could be good or could be bad.
I think it's probably good.
For a young guy like him, he can probably, like if he went out celebrating last night, he can recover from a
fair, or he's just going out tonight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, could be that.
They're in Memphis. Yeah, Memphis, pretty good nightlife. So maybe he waited for tonight. For this one, I would be looking at Amin. That's where I'm still considering, to be honest. And the Şengün thing does impact it a little bit. I also want to know about Ja, to be honest. Like I do think it's legit that even when he's seen it shoot around, we were talking about this, me and David before the show, he doesn't play, then he's not at shoot around, but he does play. Like everything's up in the air for him. Everything's possible. So don't really like any of it, to be honest, without knowing about Ja. Need to know about that. But I do like Desmond Bane again. Just I need to know if Ja's playing. If not, like assists at 5.5 are okay, even though it's a really good Houston defense against assists. So you see how bad I'm waffling today without really liking too much. So if you don't have anything else from any of the other games, this is my only play on the card officially right now, although I plan on getting to a couple more of these in just a minute. Franz Wagner, I took him for the points and the boards combined. I love this dude.
He's
really
a baller.
Yeah, and I like that. Like, I like to bet on people that, like, we all love to bet on Josh Hart because we know that Josh Hart's going to try as hard as possible at all times. Franz Wagner, not only is he going to be trying, he's going to be looking to score at all times. And then the rebounds were low. I got this at 28.5. I guess I should have made that clear. I didn't really recheck it, which is my bad. I would still take this. And if you just rather just take the points at 23.5, that's a big part of why I'm comfortable with the bet in general. The 23.5 is still like, he's not getting a minutes limit. They tried. He was supposed to have a minutes limit in both of these games. And he was like, you can keep me off the court if you break my leg, basically, because I'm going, like, there was like actual fights where the trainers had to like stop him from being so mad that he wasn't going in the game, that kind of stuff, which I love to hear. I mean, who doesn't want to hear that? So yeah, Franz is going to play more than 30 minutes when he does. And he plays, even when he plays with Paolo, this is going to look ridiculous because he was playing without Paolo. But even this season when he played with Paolo, as long as he got 30 minutes and it wasn't a complete wreck of a blowout, he's averaging 28 points per game in that time frame. The boards as well, totally fine. And what I really like is that I might actually be hitting Paolo assists, because his assists with Paolo total drop, right? And Paolo is the facilitator. It started last season. It seems like it's staying consistent this year, which is the 3 games that Franz has been back. Nice assist hits here for Paolo, 6, 7, 6. The rebounds for Paolo, pretty good. One game against the Heat, bad. Points, pretty good. But that's the thing, that he seems like his touches are the most on the team by far. The assists are the most on the team, and the potential. So like, this is where I'd be looking for Paolo, which only makes me feel better that Franz is doing all the other stuff, basically. But yeah, and I had considered Denny. I'll still be looking at maybe some Denny Avdia because I love him so much. But
Denny rebounds is what I looked at. I didn't bet it. It was it was the boards. You know, he had cashed in 2 straight games. He had been good. You're paying a juice 6.5 or plus money 7.5. And I mean, like, I liked Denny a lot when Jeremy Grant was out, and he's still been good without Jeremy Grant, but it hasn't been quite this. It hasn't been quite the same. So I didn't end up betting it, but yeah, this one was close to making my list as well.
For sure. I want to bring up this comment. I'm going to go through some of the comments too, if you're down to kind of take a look at some of these. I'm glad you brought this up, Chance, because I was talking about this with David. You brought this up, right? Before the show?
I did, yeah.
Do you want to give a response to that one? Because I agree with you entirely.
I wasn't sure why, but it just, if you look at their average and how many points Cleveland gives up, it just seems high. Like, I know Atlanta played a faster pace, but
so
they're also
go ahead.
They've lost twice too already this season, so I feel like they don't want to get swept.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, they might not have much of a choice. The thing is like, when they've been playing without Jalen Johnson, I think that's a big part of this. Atlanta Hawks pace with and without Jalen Johnson this season. No, pace is the same. Interesting. Let's do so what are the points though? Yeah, so they're scoring 9 fewer points per game without Jalen Johnson, because Dyson Daniels is now their secondary ball handler. So I actually really like the under, to be honest. Did this get up to 240? Yeah. Okay. Then because this was at like 237.5 or something like that this morning when it opened.
Got bet up.
So it got bet up. Yeah, or 239, and it got bet up slightly to 240. Like, I'm fine with that, to be honest. I need to stop saying, to be honest. Why would I need to say that? Does that mean I'm lying all the other shit that I'm saying, basically?
We just assume every time you don't say that, you're lying.
Right. So yeah, you need to know. I need to clarify for you guys if I'm full of shit.
When you're being honest. Yeah.
But all right. Well, yeah, I do like the under a lot. I like that question because I was there with David on that one. Let me see if there's anything else. Yeah, I'm still looking. I've got the leans on the bottom there, and I'm really liking that stuff. I just need to kind of come back to it real quick. And probably get that stuff up. If you do see some stuff from Free Sauce, he's got some looks in here too. One of the VIPs that's in the Discord. Great Barrier Thief, one of the favorites. Obviously, you're talking about Dyson Daniels there. The RA for Dyson, probably a pretty good look without Jalen Johnson in there. Let me see if we got a couple others in here. But I appreciate everybody. We see some nice looks from you guys and some appreciative comments, which we're appreciative of as well. And my fellow Josh says, you don't have to shut up, Matt. You can keep going.
I did see that.
Yeah. We like extra reasoning around here rather than less reasoning.
I did appreciate that.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, cool. Well, let's see real quick. Max Strus, because it was a look. Yeah, back-to-back, only 3 so far this season. He comes off the bench, but I think he's starting now, TJK. That's the thing about Mr. Strus. I'm going to double-check I'm not lying. He definitely started the last game, right, without Garland, but I think he's been starting a few games in a row now. This is popcornmachine.net. This is going to be able to show me like starting lineups. This is yesterday's game. So Strus is in there. I believe the last couple games, you can see this is the starting lineup at the beginning of the game. He was in there. Jalen Tyson was the one in there for Garland. So yeah, I think Strus is staying in there. I think he's going to start topping 25 plus minutes pretty consistently. Let me go back to that look for him real quick. 9.5 still. I know he's not been doing it, and it's probably just hyper dependent. Not even actually. He's gotten the points without the threes a couple times recently. 26. Yeah, he played 33 without Garland. It scares me a little bit on the back-to-back because it's not that long ago that he was coming off the injury, and he's had some high minute totals recently. So we might actually not see quite as much of Max Strus. I'll probably end up staying away from that one. And definitely holler, man, if anything stands out to you as I'm like looking at stuff. Happy to look at things. Yeah, Banchero on the assist is going to be a look for me too. So yeah, I actually have to get back to that stuff. So let me get into that here off air so that I can dive in. I've only got one play for the VIP right now, but we're gonna be coming back tomorrow. Appreciate you you jumping on, Matt. Any final words, or at least where can the people find you for those who don't know?
Yeah. No, I that's all I got. I only really had one lean. I feel like I'm at my best on the gross slates like this, but I kind of just find my plays and then I'm good. So like I don't do the additional stuff and I feel like that only just confuses you. Anyways, yeah, I'm at Twitter at Jedi Modi, YouTube at Jedi Modi. If you found me compelling, go ahead and check me out there.
Jedi Modi, hell yeah. And yeah, you'll see us doing some a Super Bowl stream for sure. We should probably make it a little bit of a party, I guess get a couple of folks on there and have some fun.
I've been debating how I want to do Super Bowl week.
Okay.
Like different person each day or just one mega one on Sunday. Right. I haven't really decided yet, but we can figure it out.
Yeah, I'm down to figure it out. All right, cool. Well, I'll be back tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, as always. David and I will also be back on Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. So it's a little bit different than if you want to get in on it. But yeah, that's all the time we have for today. So appreciate everybody stopping in. Oh, Daft, you missed.
Yo, did Daft get the police come after Daft? Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, they came after Daft, but he's still up. Let's give Daft his daily promo so that people know that they can still find him for our favorite Australian. Or he's at least in my top like 3 or 4 Australians. But yeah, it's now at I Am Daft previews.
What in all seriousness, why does YouTube he doesn't know?
I think he got 25K subscribers on his other channel, and when you hit a milestone like that, they randomly audit you. And then if he might have had a link up that it's page 10, article C, line 4, section 6. It says clearly you're not allowed to have this link of this thing in your video or whatever. So some bullshit like that they just like suspended him for that. But yeah,
forever or for like a short term.
Yeah, they're gonna undo it and probably hopefully be a little more specific about why they even took it down in the first place. To be honest, but he's still putting out these videos. He's still killing right now. Not yesterday because we all got waxed yesterday except for Modi. But other than that,
I got minorly waxed. I was down like 3/4 of a unit or something.
Right. They call it, and they call it paused when you're out. All right. Well, yeah, we'll be getting Daft back on the show once he's freed. Or we'll take we'll accept the collect call that he has to make from jail or whatever it is. All right. Appreciate you guys. I'll definitely be getting a video out tonight. We got a decent sized slate tomorrow, so I can get some looks out. We'll be getting some props up. I think we already got some props up on a couple.
I think it was one game,
one of the first games. Yeah. Suns, so the Dubs Suns. I think I'm going to be at that game actually. So maybe hopefully KD plays. But all right, best of luck to everybody tonight. And until I at least see you tomorrow, happy betting.